Welcome to the Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this episode. And I know it's raining out here, if you can see that on the screen, but it was the only time I could get to do this because recently I had a third son last Saturday, the Saturday before, in fact, which was the 12th. I know I still managed to post on that day, but he was born very quickly. So here I am again, sleep deprived and tired. But before I go into this video, I also want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel. I think I got something like 1,000 subscribers in 10 days, which is insane. So thank you for hitting that subscribe button. It does mean the world to me because it means that all the effort that I'm going to, you guys are enjoying. So very, very much appreciated. Now today's video is an absolute winner in my book because it takes something that is very technically difficult and it speeds it up. It's still technically difficult, but it speeds it up somewhat. Now it's the long bleach regrowth. I've done several videos already about long bleach regrowths, and this one is no exception to the rule in the sense that it's fiddly and it's technical, but you don't have to go in with two different products and foils and all the fiddly things that I've done previously. You can just go straight in with one product, but that does mean... So this is what we are dealing with. This is Mary, and she has got a over 1 centimetre, 1.5 centimetre regrowth. It's difficult to see here due to the fact that she has topped up her crazy colour herself in between applications, but you'll certainly see it better in the back here. Now, one of the things that we have to deal with when we're doing this is that heat transference from the scalp. And one of the ways that we can deal with, well, there's several ways that we can deal with this, and I've covered 2 of the other ways in other videos. Now, let's quickly talk about application. I always paint up from the existing colour back towards the hair that is at the roots. And then on the underneath side, I paint from the roots back up to my regrowth, as you just saw. So let's go over it one more time. I'm going to paint up from my regrowth up towards the roots. I'm going to take a very, very fine section, and your section's going to be so fine that you can see the product on the underneath side of your section. And then we paint from the roots up. This is to ensure maximum saturation on the hair. Now, saturation when it comes to bleaching is absolutely paramount. There is nothing more important than the saturation of the product, and the same thing is applied all the way through. Now, this technique is very simple at this stage. You're just doing a simple regrowth and you're not worrying too much about the long regrowth that you're tackling. Once you've applied the full head, however, though, what you're going to do is go back in and apply an extra layer of product that is on the hair that is over that first ½ centimetre from the scalp. Now, the benefit of doing this is that you go back over your work and you double check that you haven't missed any bits. And the other benefit of this is that the saturation is thinner on the roots and thicker in the area of the hair where it's not going to lift so well. Now, this will mean that when this product lightens the hair, the roots will develop a little bit slower. Well, the roots right by the scalp will develop a little bit slower. This is absolutely paramount to keeping this long regrowth nice and simple. So working through the sections and making sure that I'm not overlapping that root area again, because I will be doubling up my saturation on that root area where I want the colour to be less saturated. We have processed this colour now for 50 minutes, and if we have a little scrape off, we can see that we have got lovely even lift from this colour, and it is going to be a dream to tone because we haven't got white roots and a yellow band. Now we are going to pre-tone this hair with Finola, and those of you who know what a fan of Finola I am, and I'm not sponsored or paid to say any of that, I just genuinely like using it for pre-tone. And I know some of you are going to be like, how much phenol have you put on there? But that much phenol is way cheaper than putting a toner on. There is the hair post phenol. Now you will note that there is a little bit more lift at the roots, but it was much quicker to do this than it was to go back through putting foils in, etc, etc. And sometimes you've got to know what you're going to put over the hair. So is it worth going to all the trouble of putting extra steps in using the foil, or going back through and doing a long bleach regrowth? Now, as you can see, the magenta colour sits perfectly over what we got from our lift, because the magenta has got a beautiful violet tone in it, which neutralised it really, really well. And that is Mary doing a little slow-mo for me. And as you can see, it's a really, really even end result, and I am super pleased with how it's turned out. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I really wanted to do this because I felt like I'd covered everything possible then to do with bleach regrowth. And if you want to, I want you to have a wonderful week. And if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button. Most importantly, if you've enjoyed this episode, then share it with your friends. And I will see you again next Sunday for another episode of The Life of Hair.